Design trends are everywhere, from anti-design to vaporwave to Y2K pop collage, neo-brutalism, glassmorphism, retrofuturism. I can't even keep up-ism. There are so many design trends, and you know, I think they might just be trends. So I'm gonna put them to the test. I'm gonna see if these trends are really just temporary or if they'll last the test of time by redesigning some of my own brands with the most popular, but also some more experimental design trends that have been viral in the last year or so. So let's get started with the first one, which is ASCII art. Honestly, I thought this was pronounced ASCII art. Is that not right? ASCII art doesn't sound right. That sounds like something bad, ASCII art. The main reason why I'm starting with this trend is because this has been all over my social media. And the reason why it's been all over my social media is because Adobe has been like sponsoring this one ad about ASCII art. Don't even lie to me and say you haven't gotten this ad on your Instagram. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but they have been putting this on my Instagram like every single day, so I guess it worked. Now, if you don't know what ASCII or ASCII art is, it's basically just art that is made with text or characters, like the keys on your keyboard. And now it's kind of evolved into not just art made strictly with the keys, but basically any sort of art created with text, whether it's actually real ASCII art or not. So let's redesign my Grayson's graphics brand here with ASCII art. I think that this has potential to actually look very cool, and it's really quite the opposite of what my brand currently looks like. So I guess the first thing I should try is the old-fashioned way. I've got Pages. I don't have Microsoft Word, okay? It's been a problem. Let's see if I can just recreate this thing. This is actually so hard. This does not look good. That was like 10 minutes of intense concentration for something that looks so bad. Let's try this ASCII art generator. Oh, wow. Interesting. So it just used the @ symbol. Mine's a little bit more creative. I actually spelt out Grayson's graphics with the letters. They just used the @ symbol and little plus signs. That definitely looks better than mine. Okay, let me drop this in. Okay, it's a PNG, but that's okay, right? I'm gonna use remove background over here. Whoa, what the heck? That remove background did not work like it should have, but it looks pretty sick. I actually really like this. On the black background and everything, I'm gonna redesign my very playful brand with this super techie. We can still use my green here. Let's grab some of my like green brand assets. I think we are on to something right now. You know what else I'm gonna do to top this thing off? Let's use a little clipping mask, man. Let's grab our text. That's right, Grayson's graphics. Let's find the most like high-tech freaking font. You know what I'm looking for, something really techy. Looking like an old school computer. I don't know. Let me go to Envato. Oh, look at that right there on the first page. Retro Byte. That looks dope. I didn't even have to search for it. That's how you know it's trending. Nice. That's perfect. Now we'll just do an old-fashioned clipping mask. Bam, boom, boom, bam. Oh man, that looks cool. What if I did a little terminal box right here? Oh yes. Okay, I think this is my final design. I had fun with this. I think this is a fun trend. Is it realistic to use this? Probably not. Fun to make though. Definitely very creative. I feel like I could just keep adding and adding and adding, but for simplicity's sake, I also think it looks good the way it is. If I were to rank this, I think like looks wise, it's very strong. Usability, very low. very poor readability. Does it really make sense beyond the design trend? No. Okay, so next up, if you have an Apple device, you know this one very quickly. This is liquid glass. This is Apple's version of glass morphism, and it's become very popular because they changed all of their operating systems from the Macs to the phones to the Apple TV. Everything is now this glassy style, and it's actually pretty hard to replicate. I'm gonna try it though. We're gonna take my newsletter, The Creative Brief. If you've watched my channel, you've probably heard me talk about this before. And we're gonna try to liquid glassify this thing and see if it holds up to the trend, because I think if any of my brands would work well with liquid glass, it'd be something that's more editorial like this newsletter. So I'm gonna use Figma for this. Figma's got this built-in like liquid glass tool in it. So let me show you. Let's say we grab this rectangle here and we want to liquid glassify this menu bar. We can just make a new menu bar and then go to Effects and add glass. So now we have this floating liquid glass menu bar, which is pretty cool, but it's kind of hard to see. I don't know if I want to do this white on white look though, because I want to really be able to see all of my glassy refractions. So I'm gonna go back to Envato. I just searched up liquid glass in the graphics tab, and I'm gonna pull one of these like backgrounds. I think I like this liquid gradient, and it's kind of orange and blue. I feel like it matches my brand. Okay, I'm gonna take this background from Envato, drop it right into my Figma file, and now we're gonna be ready to rock and roll. After applying a lot of glass effects, this is where we're at. Now, the only thing that we're missing is obviously the logo. So let's try to make a little liquid glass logo, and I think I have kind of an idea of how I want to do this. Trust me here, I am a professional. That looked a lot better in my head. Okay, here is the final liquid glassified brand. Oof, this did not come out how I expected it to. Rating this design trend looks wise, pretty bad, but I think that that's because I'm really bad at making liquid glass, and that is something that I've been humbled by today. As far as usability, also not the best there. It's pretty hard to read everything, and I even tried playing with the background, like getting rid of it, and then that doesn't seem to help either. It's just like nothing you can do makes this thing readable. So the usability of this trend, probably not. But the real question is, does this make sense beyond the trend? And I think so. When done right, liquid glass can actually be really cool, and it's so much more interesting and dynamic compared to flat design. We've seen it work successfully in tech, so I think it can be successful. I think I'm just very unsuccessful at making liquid glass. So the third design trend I want to try is this Renaissance trend. This has gotten very popular. Shopify's website here is sort of the best example of it, but it's really just using these like Renaissance paintings, very scripty font. It's this balance of like very modern Apple meets this like, I don't know, cool Renaissance scripty thing. So I want to try this. I have a great brand for this too. This is my hand-painted clothing store slash YouTube merch called Paint Factory. So obviously the painting and the Renaissance paintings, those go hand in hand. So I think it's gonna be really fun. Okay, I think the first thing we gotta do is fix up the logo. Go to fonts, type in Renaissance. Oh, this is so perfect. This is like the exact design trend that I'm looking for. Okay, let's download this one. Oh, wait a second. I should do it like a frame. I'm such a sucker for freaking like gold frames. Like these things right here. Oh my gosh. I love a good old-fashioned gold ornamental frame. There's so many good options, I don't know which one to pick. I think I'm gonna go with this one. And then I want some sort of like texture, like maybe a stone or a marble. Yes, that's it. Like a marble texture. Oh yes. Okay, so I think the next thing to take this to the next level will be trying to get some of these images here and then transforming them into Renaissance photos. So I'm gonna use this image edit tool here and I'm gonna drop in those pictures. And now I'm just gonna say turn into Renaissance painting. This is very cool. I like this style a lot. It's very Leonardo. I went to the art museum the other day, the North Carolina Museum of Art, and it was so boring. I don't know why art museums have to be so stuffy and like quiet. Like there's not even music playing. I get that you're supposed to be like looking at the art and taking it in and observing it, but wouldn't it be a little bit more fun if you could talk in there? Like if it wasn't like a little library, if instead it was more social, maybe you could hang out and you could chat and you could look at the painting and like talk about it. Just an idea. Just a thought. Maybe I'm gonna open up an art museum one day. Okay, I've decided to go in a different direction. I think the marble background was just really making everything not look good. And the Shopify website has that full page spread. So I edited the image with a little image gen. And now it's looking a lot better. Okay, so this is sort of the idea, and I'm not gonna lie, I think it is cooler. This is actually really sick. Obviously, with this being hand-painted clothings and this being the Renaissance paint style, it is a pretty good match. I really do like this font that we found. This is a really cool font. I actually like the logo in this a lot. They're two completely different styles of the same thing, but they both work really, really well. If I had to rank this one, I'd say looks the best. Usability also probably the best that we've done today. It's definitely the most usable still, but going beyond the trend, is this going to last? I don't know. It's not really, the problem is it's not custom to your brand at all. It's pretty generic. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. So even in Shopify's example, like it's a cool website, but it's not really on brand for Shopify at all. And same thing here, where I'm making hand-painted clothing using certain colors, and it's a very playful, chaotic style, and this is a very elegant style, which doesn't actually apply to the brand in real life. I think this is a trend that is amazing when it fits, but when it doesn't, it's just kind of ridiculous. The last trend we are going to redesign today is Frutiger Aero. This has become the internet's most favorite nostalgic trend of all time, I think. This is the mid-2000s design style where it used these glossy elements, very watery, dreamy, transparent. It's a very specific design style that reminds you of playing on a Windows computer back in like 2007. So we are going to redesign my Spotify page. This is my Spotify Gray. If you don't listen to music, check it out. I think this would be a really unique web page to design with Frutiger Aero, but I have no idea how to do that. So instead of me trying to design this manually like we've done with the rest of them, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I just want to see what it'll look like. So let's go back to the image edit in Envato, and I'm gonna upload this screenshot. And just like we did with the Renaissance painting, I'm just gonna ask it, can you redesign this as Frutiger Aero? Okay, this is the big reveal. Whoa. That is very Windows Vista. It looks, it looks so much like liquid glass. It looks like the old classic Windows media player. That's what it looks like. Very bubbly though. I like this. I'm gonna look at the other variation. Oh yeah. Now we're talking. Wait, let's check out the third one. Oh my god, even better. This is the one. They got the bubbles, they've got the dystopian future, the sky blues, the plants, everything about this. This is totally on point for this. If I had to rank this one, I'd say looks wise, this might be the best. I don't know, you know, this is preference at this point, but I definitely love the way this looks, and Frutiger Aero is just so nostalgic. I think it has a special place in a lot of people's hearts. Usability, I'd still say, is pretty high. I mean, I think a lot of people would probably argue that this era is more usable than liquid glass today. And then I would say, going beyond the trend, will this last? I mean, I think it comes in waves. It's gonna keep coming and going throughout our lives, where this is popular and then this is like the most dated thing that could ever exist. So usability, I probably wouldn't rely on it to make a full brand, but it is very fun. My final thoughts after spending a day redesigning my brands with these random trends, I think that design trends are really interesting, and I think they're actually very important, because while most of them are just trends and they're short-lived, they do kind of force you to experiment with your brand in a way that you probably normally wouldn't. And following design trends actually teaches you a lot about how to design. You learn new techniques, you learn new styles. I just don't think design needs to play it safe all the time. I would gladly redesign my Spotify page to Frutiger Aero for a week just to have fun with it in the middle of June. Why not? So if you like this video, hit the subscribe button, and if you want, maybe try one of these trends or try a different trend or just make something up. Just be a little creative, experiment, try something new, even if it's bad. And if you do make something, tag me on Instagram at Grayson's Graphics, because I want to see it.